All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today we're going to start with the newest part of the French Revolution. This is where things start to heat up, things are starting to get build up to the beginning parts of the French Revolution. All right, so basically, we've done the setup of the French Revolution, how things happened, why things were so bad, and what people were trying to do. And now we're getting to the point where people are really starting to get upset. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So, your objective today, we're going to analyze what the Great Fear was. We're going to examine what the Women's March was and create an argument on whether public officials like mayors, governors, presidents, congressmen should they take a test to see if they actually qualify to be in office. We're going to create that argument later on. All right, so here is your warm up picture. Now, what I'm asking you is pretty simple. Where do you think these women are going? And yes, those are women. Okay. Um, where do you think they're going? And what evidence is there to support your claim? So if you say, hey, they're going to go shop Black Friday shopping, how do you know? If you say they're going to do a certain activity, what evidence is there to back up your claim? Okay. So be sure you add that explanation. Okay. Because again, if you just put they're going to the store, that's it. You're losing points because we need the explanation. Okay. I need to see the explanation. Why do you think that? Okay. So pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. Now, if you remember from the last lesson, King Louis XVI heard about the revolution and now he's like kind of scared because he feels he can't trust his royal troops anymore. Not because they've done something to show disloyalty. No, no, no. It's because he knows that the mob, the group of people who are going to be try to get him, attack him, and some of that, that chances are those troops have family members, friends, people they know, people in their neighborhood, people they grew up with in that crowd, and they're afraid. He's afraid that they won't shoot at the group. If he tells them, shoot them, don't let them come near, that these guys will hesitate and not shoot because again, they might know somebody in that crowd. So he's like, I can't trust these guys. Now, in the last lesson, we talked about how revolts, basically the uh, poor people took over Paris. Now, revolts are busting out all over France. Everything from big towns to little ones. The poor people are uprising. Okay. Um, the peasant rebellion, as it was known as, became also known to the rich people as the Great Fear. Now, why is it known as that way? Because this is something that people in power, people who have money, a lot of money, are scared of. They're scared that the poor people would unite and basically, because remember, there's a heck of a lot more poor people than there are rich people. And for all these poor people to unite and basically kick down those rich people's front doors, they're scared of that. They're afraid of it, terrified, petrified of that. So that's why it's known as the Great Fear. Now, word started to spread around that these lords and noblemen um, were thinking about hiring foreign troops, troops from Spain, uh, Italy, Prussia, Russia, to basically be mercenaries. Um, so these guys, this ticked off the peasants even more. Now, this is one of the smartest things I think that they did, that the peasants did. What they did is they broke into the rich people's homes. They would go into their office, because a lot of these rich people had an office where they had all their documents of like contracts they had with people, have lists of like, oh, this person owes me $5,000, this person owes me, $10,000, whatever it may be. So what they did is once they broke in, they went straight to these offices, took out all these papers, these contracts and things like that, and they burned them. So now, if these guys try to go to court, say, "Hey, this guy owes me $5,000," where's the contract? Where's the proof? Where does it say that they signed off saying that that's the thing? Because other than that, it's a legal term called hearsay. Basically, someone says something, okay, great, but where's your proof? I have none. That's hearsay. It's just, well, you could have said anything. You could have said they owed you $10,000 or $1,000 or $20. It could be anything, but there's no physical proof that says it's this much. So anything like that, that's called hearsay. Um, so that's what they did. That was probably the smartest thing these peasants did. Basically, wiped out debt. Okay. Now here's the thing: some of these French guards, these guys who were in charge and standing there, guarding important places, some of them just said, you know what? No, I'm done with this, and they just walked off the job. Some guards, when they saw like the crowd of peasants coming, they basically joined them. Some of them said, "Hey, I'm with you. This sucks. You know, so I'm going to join your side." So instead of stopping these peasants from doing something, they joined them. Now, August 4th, 1789, the National Assembly declared to abolish all legal privileges of the nobles and clergy. So now these noblemen and clergy couldn't say, well, I'm not going to pay taxes because that's one of my privileges of being a nobleman. Now it's like, no, you don't have that privilege. Oh, you can't arrest me because I'm a noble. No, we can now because your privilege gone, doesn't exist anymore. So about a week later, um, the French, the National Assembly, the French people wrote and adopted the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizens. Okay, that's where it is right there. Um, that's what that picture is of. Now the thing is, they didn't come up with this off the top of their heads. Basically, they kind of looked at the English Bill of Rights, they looked at America's Declaration of Independence, and basically said, you know what? These are pretty good. I like this. I like this. Let's take this off. I like this. I like this. Let's take this off. So they got to pick and choose between those two documents, what they wanted for their country. So basically, the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizens says this, that people have the basic liberties, freedoms that citizens of all countries of all the world deserve, and liberty, which is freedom, property, security, and resistance to oppression. So that's saying everyone deserves that stuff: property, freedom, security, meaning you have the right to feel safe, and resistance to oppression, meaning nobody can hold you down saying, hey, I'm more important than you. You know, I'm a king, you're a nothing, you're below me. No, no. Okay. That's what they're saying. Now, all men are free and equal before the law. That's one of the major things that they try to push. Doesn't matter who you are, the king, a nobleman, a, a god, a man of God, a church priest guy, whoever. No, if you break a law, you should be held accountable and be punished like everyone else. Just because of your status, just because of your wealth, doesn't mean you are exempt, that you get away with it. No. The other thing is, appointed public officials were based off talent. It should be based off talent. It shouldn't be who's your dad, how much money do you have, which family do you come from. It shouldn't matter. What they're saying is it should be, how smart are you? How much of the law do you know? You know, so it should be based off that, not where you come from. Okay. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Again, they got that particularly from really America. And no group, rich, poor, doesn't matter. Everyone has to pay taxes. No one is exempt. No one can say, well, because I'm a clergyman, I don't have to pay taxes. No, none of that. Everyone pays taxes. Now, with this King Louis the 16th basically said, you know what? I don't like it. I don't agree with it. So, yeah, no. And this ticked off a lot of people, especially some women in France. Now, it got to the point where like thousands of women, French women, Parisians, that's what it means, French women, um, were basically armed to the teeth with broomsticks, lances, pitchforks, swords, pistols, muskets, whatever they can get their hands on as a weapon. They even took a cannon. So that warm up picture, that's true. And they marched to Versailles, which is where King Louis XVI and his family were. And they basically knocked on the door, and they were like, "Hey, King Louis, how you doing? Uh, yeah, hi. We're a bunch of ticked off women, and we want to talk to you about the National Assembly and some other things. So either open the door, or we're gonna blast it open with this cannon. Your choice." Now, King Louis is not the smartest man in the world, but he's smart enough to realize you got several thousand angry women at your front door. You open it and you listen. So basically, that's what he did. He opened the doors, the women came in, and he talked to some of them. And they basically told him, kids are starving. This National Assembly thing, you've really ticked off people. You need to accept the terms of them because they're going to come. You think we're bad. People are going to come to the front door even more upset than we are, and they're not going to be nice like how we were. They'll come angry and wanting blood. So you need to listen to us. So they convinced them to go back to Paris to show support for the National Assembly and be like, okay, yeah, you guys were right. I agree to the terms and all this stuff that you guys laid down. Um, so on October 6th, they went to Paris. And, King Louis XVI is with his family, you know, and with them, they bring several wagon loads of flour. Because again, remember the women told him kids are starving, people are hungry. So this flour was used to create bread and things like that. Because again, you have to remember, people are starving and the king has a ton of food. He's not gonna go hungry. So they made sure, hey, bring that food with you. Okay. So really the King Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette, and their son were virtually prisoners in Paris. Now, believe it or not, while King Louis XVI was technically in prison, he was still in power, but he didn't have like the power like he did before. Um, the reason why he's still in power is because things are pretty chaotic at this point. Nobody really knows who's in charge, and there's a lot of problems that nobody can really fix right now. Because the thing is, one of the biggest things still was food. It was at a shortage. Crops weren't growing that well. The military, nobody knew who was in charge. People were like, well, do we have one military general who's going to step up? Is it, all these other generals, like a collection of generals who are going to be the leader? I mean, how are we going to do this? Nobody knew. Who do we listen to and things like that. And then rumors started spreading about royalist conspiracies. People were planning to free the king and his family and take him away to like Prussia or some other country so they could be free. So people were getting very paranoid, getting very upset and things like that. But again, these are rumors. They're not fact. But as you guys probably know from being in high school, when a rumor starts spreading, it spreads like crazy. Now, it got so bad that the Minister of Justice, that guy right there in the picture, that is George Danton, um, he attacked the palace and forced the royal family to seek protection from the Legislative Assembly. Um, he basically was like, hey, you guys need to go with this group because things are getting bad. Now, before a national convention could be set up to calm the people, riots started breaking out. People are losing their mind. People are hungry. People are angry. There's no order, it's pure chaos. Um, so these rumors started spreading even more that nobles were trying to stop the revolution. And this caused more anger, more resentment towards the noblemen and things like that. So the riots spreading all around France caused thousands of people to lose their lives. And again, was there any facts? No, no. It was simply on rumors. All right, so here is my question to you. Do you think our public officials, our governors, mayors, presidents, congressmen, should they take a test to see if they qualify to take office? Or do you think no, no, no? It should be for anyone. It shouldn't be about how smart you are. You know, it should be about other factors besides just memorization and things like that. What do you think? What do you believe? Should they take a test to see if they qualify? See if they know the laws and things like that, or should it not? That shouldn't apply. What do you think? So take a minute, write down your response. Once you finish, you're done with this lesson. So hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed it. So with that being said, guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.